Hey guys, what's up? So this is a new course of contribution of Mahatma Gandhi in India's modern history, and we will deal with early life and education in this particular lesson. And I will try to cover everything which you need to know about Mahatma Gandhi, who is the father of our nation, and who is there in every currency note. So see, these things become important because every year in mains or in essay writing or in prelims, one or two questions are always asked related to Mahatma Gandhi, like an eye for an eye makes the whole world blind. So that can be an essay title. So if you know his early life education, if you know his contribution, so that entire essay which is worth 250 marks or 125 marks, your life becomes really really easy. So let us talk about the contribution of Mahatma Gandhi, early life and education. So he is called as the man who changed the character. See, anybody could have eventually got us the independence, but what are the principles on which your nation is made? For example, Pakistan is also independent, but the principles were not right. That is why the military coup happened. So the character of India's freedom struggle is more important than actual freedom. Through a new ideology, the man who we call the father of our nation is one of the greatest Indians of all times and a remarkable personality of not just India but the entire world history. And his full name is M.K. Gandhi and Mohandas Karamchand Gandhi. Basically, like Buddha and Christ before him, he too was born to carry the message of peace, truth, and non-violence at a time when the forces of aggression, violence reigned supreme on earth. So, if you write an essay like this, then I'm telling you the examiner will fall in love with you and he will give you so much marks that you can't even imagine. He not just guided a political struggle, but it also gave the masses a new tool of protest, a moral political code based on Satyagraha, non-violence in the age of violence. So these are all keywords, try to focus on them as much as you can. And he waged war not only against British imperialism, but he declared war on all the forces of unrighteousness, whether it is India's any ill in India, untruth, injustice all over the world. So he was born on 2nd October 1869. Everybody knows his birth date because that is a national holiday in India. To a Hindu Baniya family or Vaishya family in Porbandar. Porbandar, also known as Sudamapuri, which is a coastal town on the Kathiawar Peninsula and then part of the small princely state of Porbandar in the Kathiawar agency of the Indian Empire. Okay, so they can ask you in MCQ where he was born. His father was Karamchand Uttamchand Gandhi and he was born in 1822 to 1885. He served as the Diwan or the chief minister of the Porbandar state, and Karamchand did not have high formal education, but as a Diwan he was like able, honest, dutiful, virtuous, truthful and courageous man. Now Gandhi's mother was Putlibai and she was pious and religious, and her innocence, goodness and saintly qualities had tremendous impact on Mohandas. So you can see he's growing up in a good family environment. Now he had Karamchand, who is the father of Mahatma Gandhi. He had married 4 times. His first 2 wives died young after each had given birth to a daughter. His third marriage was childless, and in 1857, Karamchand sought his third wife's permission to remarry, and he married Putlibai. And Karamchand and Putlibai had 3 children over the ensuing decade: a son Lakshmidas, a daughter Riliyat Ben, and another son Karsan Das. And on 2nd October 1869, Putlibai gave birth to her last child, that is Mohandas. Okay. So as a child, Gandhi was described by his sister Raliyat as restless as Mercury, either playing or roaming about, and one of his favorite pastime was twisting dogs' ears. So basically, you can just have a basic idea of what kind of personality he was. Now, these questions you can use it in your essay writing. Indian classics, especially the stories of Shravan, King Harishchandra, had great impact on Gandhi in his childhood, and in his autobiography, he admits that they left an indelible impression on his mind. And Gandhi's early self-identification with truth and love as supreme value is traceable to these epic characters. Shravan you might know, okay, and King Harishchandra everybody knows about him. So Gandhi began his school days as a meek, mild and innocent boy. At age of 9, he entered the local school in Rajkot near his home. He studied the rudiments of arithmetic, history, Gujarati language, geography, and he joined the high school in Rajkot at 11. He was an average student, won some prizes, but he was a shy and tongue-tied student. He had no interest in games, and his only companions were books, school lessons. And while at high school, a Muslim friend named Sheikh Mehtab encouraged the strictly vegetarian boy to eat meat to gain height and have a strong body like an Englishman. And he also took Mohandas to a brothel one day, and he was struck blind and dumb in his dance of vice, and he rebuffed the prostitutes' advances and was promptly sent out of the brothel. So you think that these people have like emerged from heaven and they have like not seen the world, but that is not true. And in 1883, the 13-year-old Mohandas was married to 14-year-old Kasturba Bai Makhanji Kapadia, also known as Kasturba Bai, in an arranged marriage. And just remember these names, they can ask who is Gandhi's wife, etc. He lost a year at school but was later allowed to make up by accelerating his studies. And writing many years later, Mohandas described with regret the lustful feelings he felt for his bride, and he was feeling jealous and possessive of her whenever like she would visit with girlfriends, and being sexually lustful in the feelings for her. So he has written all of this, and very few people can admit that these they have some issues, and it was not entirely correct. Now, the Gandhi couple's first baby died, and later they had four more children, all sons: Harilal, Manilal, Ramdas, and Devdas. And in January 1888, Gandhi enrolled at Samaldas College in Bhavnagar State, and then it was the sole degree granting institution of higher education in the region. He dropped out, returned to his family in Porbandar, and Mauji Dave Joshiji, a Brahmin priest and family friend, he advised Gandhi and his family that he should consider law studies in London. Now Gandhi's uncle, who was Tulsidas, and mother, they were not comfortable about Gandhi leaving his wife and family and going so far from home. Now he had to do some persuasion techniques here. So to persuade his wife and mother, Gandhi made a vow in front of his mother they would abstain from meat, alcohol, and women. So Gandhi's brother Lakshman Das, who was already a lawyer, backed Gandhi's London studies plan and offered to support him. Now in London, Gandhi studied law and jurisprudence, enrolled at the Inner Temple, one of the four Inns of Court, okay, and in London with the intention of becoming a barrister. His childhood shyness, self-withdrawal continued with him even when he arrived in London, but then he joined a public speaking practice group. And in his time in London, he was influenced by the vow he made to his mother. He tried to adopt English customs, including dancing, but he could not appreciate the bland vegetarian food offered by his landlady and was frequently hungry until he found one of London's few vegetarian restaurants. And influenced by Henry Salt's writing, he joined the Vegetarian Society, was elected to its executive committee, and started a local Bayswater chapter. And some of the vegetarians he met were members of the Theosophical Society, which had been founded in 1875 to further the Universal Brotherhood, and it was devoted to the study of Buddhist and Hindu literature. And these members of the Theosophical Society encouraged Gandhi to join them in reading the Bhagavad Gita, both in the translation as well as into the original. And the English version of Gita was translated by Edwin Arnold, impressed him. And then there was a book called Life of the Buddha, changed his attitude towards life. He also studied Bible, works of Prophet Muhammad, and through this he could synthesize different religions of the world. And Gandhi at the age of 22 was called to the bar in June 1891, and then left London for India, where he learned that his mother had died while he was in London and that his family had kept the news from him. So we'll see how he worked in South Africa in the next lesson. Thank you.